Thanks a lot. Let's get right to it. Food security in Australia. Abundance without access. At the time of preparing this talk, Australia's population is just over 28 million people. Yet we produce enough food to feed more than 75 million. That's a surplus capable of feeding 47 million extra people. So here's the question I want you to sit with. Why is Australia one of the most expensive countries in the world to buy groceries? Australia exports over 70% of the food it produces. With that level of abundance, you would expect food to be affordable, accessible, even celebrated. Instead, Australians are paying some of the highest grocery prices on Earth. If the reason were simply profit, that might make a certain kind of cold economic sense. Why sell locally for less when overseas markets pay more? But that explanation falls apart quickly. Groceries in Australia are up to 108% more expensive than in countries like the UK and France. That difference cannot be explained by farming costs alone. Yes, overseas food travels long distances, but so does ours, inside our own country. Which brings us to transport. Australia is vast, and food must travel thousands of kilometers to reach supermarket shelves. That cost is amplified by one major factor: fuel. Diesel prices in Australia are extraordinarily high, and every kilometer driven adds cost to the final product. Every crate, every pallet, every delivery. So now we're told food is expensive because transport is expensive. But then something doesn't add up. Despite these supposedly crippling costs, Australia's two dominant supermarkets, Coles and Woolworths, are among the most profitable supermarkets in the world. Let that sink in. If costs are genuinely out of control, how are profits so enormous? Does anyone else see a pricing problem here? We are told the shareholders are everyday Australian mums and dads, and that the profits stay in Australia. But let's be honest, how many families struggling to pay grocery bills have the spare money to invest meaningfully in supermarket shares? It's far more likely that the profits flow upward, while average Australians absorb the cost at the checkout. And if that doesn't concern you, let's talk about imported food. Australia, often described as the breadbasket of the Southern Hemisphere, imports around 15% of its groceries. Some of this is food we don't grow here. That's reasonable. But much of it could be grown here. We import it because it's cheaper or easier, while exporting our own produce overseas. Much of this imported food isn't aimed at struggling families. It's often exotic, premium, or specialty products, items more accessible to the well-off. So we export our staples, import luxury food, and then wonder why groceries are expensive. This isn't new. Australia has been doing this since the golden days of the wool trade, selling abundance cheaply, buying it back dearly. Sometimes it feels like we're still operating under a colonial mindset. And no amount of marketing spin can hide the truth. Australians are paying inflated prices for food we already have in surplus. We pay too much for fuel. We pay too much at the checkout. And our supermarkets smile through glossy advertising campaigns telling us how lucky we are. The cost, however, isn't just financial. It's physical. In 2026, obesity is one of Australia's most serious health challenges. Out of our 28 million people, around 13 million live with obesity. And 26% of Australian children are obese. That did not happen by accident. Once upon a time, food markets sold fresh, whole foods. Today, supermarkets are dominated by packaged, ultra-processed, chemically enhanced products. Obesity is driven by an energy imbalance, more calories in than out, but also by cheap, energy-dense food, sedentary lifestyles, aggressive food marketing, easy access to sugary drinks, and highly processed products. Healthy food is harder to access. Unhealthy food is cheap, convenient, and everywhere. And if you think public health ranks high on the priority list, consider this. A recent documentary claimed that only 2 out of 10 Australian honeys could verify the claims on their labels. The rest contained syrups, water, or additives, including well-known Australian brands. Ask yourself this: why does one of nature's best preservatives need anything added at all? And how can honey be labeled organic when bees forage on pesticide-treated crops? The answer lies in clever wording. Legal, yes, but ethically hollow. Now, let's talk about food security. When transport systems fail, supermarkets empty fast. Fresh food disappears within 24 hours. Staples last 3 to 4 days. Frozen and long-life goods are gone within 7 to 10 days. Within 2 weeks, supermarkets are functionally empty. In an emergency, it's already too late to act. Right now, Australia is not under immediate threat. In fact, we are well positioned in terms of food quantity. Our weakness is distribution, and that gives us something valuable: time. Time to experiment. Time to make mistakes. Time to build resilience. But the time to act is now, not later. Gardens and veggie patches take time to establish, but once they do, they keep producing. That's what Grow Food Australia is about. Life, and life abundantly. With a small amount of effort, people can eat fresh, healthy food. They can improve their health while growing it. They can strengthen families, build community, and save money long-term. Governments may have emergency plans, but governments are also targets in times of crisis, and often driven by short-term thinking. I'm not advocating a prepper mentality. I'm saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. The Boy Scouts say it best: be prepared. History, especially 2 world wars, shows Australians are resilient. We adapt, we improvise, we survive. I'd like to believe that spirit still exists, because the world can change overnight, and those who are unprepared will always be the most vulnerable. So, come on, Australia. Let's grow food. Let's grow resilience. And let's take responsibility for our future, starting right outside our own back doors. Thank you. Thanks.